to the Patrick Chapman Show. I'm Patrick Chapman, and here we go. So first of all, what better day than St. Patrick's Day to say Happy St. Patrick's Day? I can't think of one. And if it is St. Patrick's Day, which by the time you see this it probably won't be anymore because it's getting late here, that means it's close to the end of winter. So goodbye, winter. Goodbye. See you next year. Hello, spring. And spring's coming officially on Saturday, I think. So Saturday will be the first day of spring, as far as I'm concerned. The weather today was kind of a mix, typical St. Patrick's Day weather, because it was kind of good, kind of bad, you know, mix of pretty good, pretty bad. Yeah, and I've had a really good day. I've had a great day. Good lessons. I've only had 4 lessons, and they were spread out throughout the day, so I had big breaks. And on one break, I went jogging, actually. Jogged very slowly, like snail pace, for 1 hour. But it was a good jog, long, and I need to do that more often. Now it's coming to be spring, so I think I can get back in shape a little bit. The winter was long. It was no exercise, and I feel it. I feel it. And I haven't been going to football practice, so I think those days are gone. But if I can get on the comeback trail, and I have a little top secret goal. I'm not telling anybody this, so shh, mum's the word. But my top secret is that if I can do 10 chin-ups by the end of June, right now I can only do 1, maybe 2. I haven't tried 2 yet. I did 1 the other week. If I can do 10 chin-ups by the end of June, I'm going to go back out for football, I think. That's my little top secret in the back of my head theory. Probably not even true. We'll see. It'll probably never happen. I don't think I could do 10 push-ups. I could barely do 10 push-ups. 10 pull-ups or chin-ups by the end of June. I don't think I'm going to make it. Honestly, I'm betting against myself. And don't tell anyone, because that's top secret, and nobody's supposed to know. Okay. So it is St. Patrick's Day. Spring is coming, and with that, you know, I saw a report from Chicago that they painted the river green on Sunday. And you know, when you're smart at the wrong time, you're stupid. And when you're clever, but at the wrong time, you're not clever. You're in the wrong place, wrong time. Don't do that. And it's really great to paint the river green on St. Patrick's Day. That's a beautiful gesture, and it's a good tradition that's been going on for years. But when you do it and it's not St. Patrick's Day, you're like one of those intellectuals, like, oh, I went to the University of Chicago. Well, good, you're a smart guy. Yeah, and we're going to paint the river green on Sunday. Why are you going to do that, Mr. Intellectual Smart Guy? Because it's kind of close to St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, but it's not St. Patrick's Day. You're being an idiot. Chicago, don't do that. You're just being stupid. You know, that's my opinion on that. You know, do it on St. Patrick's Day. Why not? Why would you do it on Sunday? Oh, because my mother says crap. It's just, you know, crap. There's a lot of crap out there. Plenty of crap. Don't get me started. All right. Yeah, so spring is coming. And, I was very happy to see, just today I noticed it, because it just happened recently, that my recent, not so recent now, it's been a couple of weeks since I did the, sorry, let me get this, my termite podcast with Adrian's termite report. It's gotten over 100 views, so I'm really happy with that, because I really didn't push it. I didn't, sometimes I'll give these things out as assignments to my students, like watch my podcast. And so it gets me views, and I like that. I got a lot of students out there, and I get a lot of views. But with this one, I didn't do that, or I haven't done it yet. So I did push it to my high school group because they're from New Orleans, so, and that's what it's about. So that might have helped a little. But besides that, I really didn't push it, and it's gotten 100 views, and I'm really happy with that result. So it's got, that's not a lot of exposure in the world sense of it all, but in my little world, which is kind of the most important world to me, because I'm the star of my world, and it means a lot to me, and I hope it's a good thing. If you have any questions or comments about termites or caterpillars, please put them in the comment section and just write up your question or your comment about termites or caterpillars, and I would appreciate it. Okay, that's number 2. Let's go to point number 3, training wheels. Sometimes between podcasts, I'll just write down notes of things I want to say, and I'll remember to say that, because if I don't write it down, forget it. And then even I make the podcast and I come back and watch it again or something, and I'm like, or just 10 minutes later, I was supposed to say that and I didn't say it, or I remembered that I said something wrong, or I made a mistake. Those happen. So, take everything with a grain of salt. I remember being a kid and hearing that, and I didn't know what it meant. Like, what does this mean? Take it with a grain of salt. Where does that come from? Why do we say it that way? Why not a grain of sand or a grain of rice? Why a grain? Why not a teaspoon? What does that come from? I love the history, the origin of words and expressions. So where do we get this grain of salt? Somebody write that in the comments. Give an answer to that one. Grain of salt. I remember not knowing what that meant. Now I know what it means, but I don't know what it comes from. Anyway, take everything I say here with a grain of salt. All right, and somehow I wrote down training wheels, and here's why. Because in Poland there are no tricycles. There are no I go, I ride my bike around, I walk around, I go from town to town. There are no tricycles. I don't know if that's true in America anymore. I don't know, maybe there are no more tricycles, even in America. But when I was a kid, I had a tricycle, we had tricycles, the neighborhood was full of tricycles. And before you got a bicycle, you got a tricycle. In Poland, the way they do it is, the little kids don't have tricycles, they have bicycles with training wheels, like a little bitty bike with training wheels. And even now, still they'll do that. And when I say even now, I mean despite the fact that you have these what are called balance bikes, and that's a good name for it. I didn't know it was called that until years after I'd had one with my kid. But they're called balance bikes without any pedals, no pedals, and you just balance on the bike, and those are great. They're wonderful, and I remember maybe I've told that story before, but I'm going to tell it again in a minute. But let me finish my point. And now I can't talk. You see, I start these things. And then I got to drink a little. Here, let me just take a sip. Okay, maybe I'll be all right now. So they got these bikes with the training wheels. And I remember as a little kid, sometimes we had training wheels on a bike when I was learning how to ride and stuff. And I would ride a bike, maybe it was mine or somebody else's, but I know what it's like to ride a bike with training wheels. And it's stupid. It's exactly like painting the river green on Sunday when it's not St. Patrick's Day. But it's close. It's close. And training wheels aren't close. They're close. They're almost like learning how to ride the bike. They teach you the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. You want to turn left, and you got training wheels. You learn to lean to the right to keep the bike or something. Your whole sense of balance is wrong. Of course, if you don't have the training wheels, you'll crash and cry, right? And it won't even help you. It won't even be a positive learning experience. You just won't learn it. You'll learn that you hate bicycles and you'll never ride again, right? So the training wheels keep you safe, but they don't teach you how to ride a bike. So you can ride with training wheels, but they're stupid. They're stupid. Good idea at the wrong time, and never helpful. Never helpful. Just don't use training wheels. the balance bike is a much better option. But before that, you got tricycles. And then after the tricycle, you graduate to the bicycle and you learn how to ride it. You get, your papa out there running down the sidewalk with you, or going down a hill, to somebody who will catch you so that you don't kill yourself. But anyway, these training wheels are just stupid. The balance bikes, I remember I think I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again fast. I was in Chicago. This would have been 18 years, not 18, 17 or 16 years ago, something like that. And there was this toy shop in the neighborhood, and it had all kinds of cool toys, like nothing you would know about or think about, and you'd be like, wow, I never thought about that. Or here, they got a game over here. And then some of the usual stuff, some of the regular games, like Monopoly or something. But they also had these cool toys. And one of them was this little, what we call now, balance bike. And it was a wooden one, And I'm like, wow, that looks like, why didn't anybody do that before? Like, why is this, here now? Why not 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 50 years ago? Why is it here now? And I'm looking at him like, and I had a kid now. My ZB was, I don't know how old he was then. He would have been about 3 or 4 or 5. It's hard to remember, but he was just young enough, just the right age that he would have been perfect on that bike. And then, like I do, I debate with myself, should I buy this thing and either ship it to Poland or try to bring it? I guess I would ship it. Should I get it? And I'm like, and then I didn't, which is my way. That's the way I do things. I think about it, and then I don't do it. So I didn't buy that bike, but I got back to Poland, and I thought, that was such a great idea, and I got this kid with me, and I ordered one. I looked it up on the internet, and I'm not the guy to do that either. I don't buy things off the internet. Everybody else does, and I've done it, and I did it with this. So I looked it up, I found one, I ordered it, I got it, I put it together, and he wrote it, and it was such a perfect thing. First day he wrote it, he was like, he didn't know how to write it, he was like walking with it between his legs, the whole way, the way we went, we went all the way across the center. And so he was just walking, but then he learned to sit down on it, and then first you push with two feet at the same time, and then you get the walking thing going, the walk run. And the great thing about that balance bike is, one, he learns balance, so that he's learning how to ride a bike. So when he graduates to a pedal bike, he knows how to ride. There's no teaching. He just gets on and goes. You just got to learn how to pedal. How hard is that? So the balance bike is great, much better than the training wheels where you're learning all the stupid stuff, like do everything wrong. So I'm pro balance bike. And now everybody has them, but we were the first. I can say I was the first in Legnica to have a balance bike for my kid. And that was a lot of fun. And the other cool thing, not only do they learn how to ride a bike, but you're walking, you can walk at your own speed. As the adult, you want to get somewhere, you walk, and he's right with you. He's just going full speed right with you. Not the baby walk, like walk a little bit, take another step, look over here, oh, there's a window over there, oh, look at that. No, he's just zipping right along with you. So you can walk full speed, and it is great. So, kudos to the guy who invented the balance bike. And they are wonderful things. Tricycles are cool. I like tricycles for kids, but these training wheel bikes, this is a kind of a Polish thing, and it's a little bit stupid. So time to graduate that and just put it in the archive of history. Okay, let's go to the next thing here. Oh, I'm not done with wheels though. Wheels, shopping carts. What the heck? Kudos to the guy who invented the balance bike. Who's the guy who invented this shopping cart with all 4 wheels turning? Now you can turn all 4 wheels. Look, wonderful. Look, you can go this way or that way. No, you can't go any way because the whole thing is just uncontrollable. This is idiocy. This is somebody that was this is the same guy who painted that river green on Sunday. The guy that went to the University of Chicago and thinks he's an intellectual. Oh, we're going to make all the wheels turn. This is going to be perfect for nothing. It doesn't help. You want the back wheels to not turn and the front wheels to turn. Then you can control the cart. Okay, why is it me? Why do I have to say this? I'm not the smart guy. Anyway. Don't do that anymore. Get those wheels right on the shopping carts. Get rid of the training wheels on the bikes. Don't paint the river green 2 days, or was it 3 days before, 2 days? 2 days before St. Patrick's Day. It's like yelling, Happy New Year, and it's like December 27th. Not quite yet. All right, I'm stuck on that. Let me go to the next thing here. Number 4. Okay, we're talking about Legnica today. So the topic of the day is Legnica because I've covered all the other cities I've been to in Poland, and I never got to Legnica. And I've been living here now for, a long time, 25 years. Whew, that's a big chunk of my life in this city. The longest I've lived anywhere. And we still have things to talk about as far as places I've lived. Okay. I don't have a lot to say about it, actually, even having lived here so long. But Legnica is about an hour west of Wrocław by car or train. A train is actually faster, probably, given traffic. The train connection is great. Now, with the new trains especially. I really recommend the trains. Train travel in Poland has gotten better. It's always been good, but it's gotten better. And I think it's going to keep getting better. So car travel also has gotten better. I don't drive, so I don't even want to mess with the car thing. So about an hour west of Wrocław in southwest Poland. It's funny because when I think of America, I know immediately north, south, east, west. I look at Poland and I think east. I gotta remember, east is over here, west. Okay, southwest Poland, 90,000 citizens. It's lost a few. It used to have like over 100,000. Now it's down to 90,000 plus minus. In the year, I think 1241, so this would have been 13th century, about mid-13th century, if you can picture that in your head. We're talking about the 1200s, 1241. The Mongols came through, and they were coming through Europe, coming in their hordes, coming across, just plundering Europe, or, all the way from Mongolia, I guess. And they got here to this exact city, Legnica, and they fought a battle. And here's the funny thing about the whole story is the Mongolians won again. They didn't lose. It's not like the Europeans beat them, and then, and that was the end. It was the end, but only because the Khan had just died, and the army retreated to go to the funeral. Otherwise, they would have just kept coming across Europe, and they would have maybe taken all. What would have stopped them? What would have stopped them? Nobody stopped them. And there was the Battle of Legnica, where I'm staying right now. This was the edge, right here, the edge of the Mongolian invasion, or whatever you call it. So that's kind of cool historically. That's one little, point in history we got. Then they went home, having won the battle. They retreated, and that was 1241. That's a long time ago. The city has changed hands several times, and so before World War II, this was not Poland. This was Germany, because we're on the western side, and the borders shifted after the war. So before the war, it was a German city. And what's cool is when I look out my window even, and on any old buildings around the old town, you can see German writing. Like just a little, I can't speak German, I can't read German, but you can see just like the the old paint or the old markings on the buildings, and you can tell it's German writing, and that's from before the war, and that's getting to be very long ago now. So those are some old buildings, and it's just cool to go, wow, that's like historical, like what was going on then in this city. All right. Okay. Let me just say this. I'm changing the order of my numbers here because I wrote down these notes and I got the orders I wanted, numbers on the order I wanted to say things in, and now I'm changing it as I speak because this is kind of on the fly, you know, play it by ear. Poland, Legnica is not really famous for restaurants or anything, and in fact, when I came here, it was hard to find a place to eat or go get a cup of coffee, especially at night. You know, late at night, like after 10 o'clock, forget it. Everything was closed. And, you know, you want to go have a second beer or something, forget it. You know, everything is closed. And you could find a place or something, but I remember, you know, there were very few places to go at night. And then just the restaurants in general, there weren't that many. And then recently they've grown a bit. So now we got some really good places. There's one right in the center everybody loves. It's called Ponad Czasem. Ponad Czasem. It means like overtime or after time, beyond time, something like that. I think it's overtime. Ponad Czasem. And it's a great restaurant. Great. It's wonderful. The only problem is the prices have gone up again. I'm like, okay, well, I was sitting there with my wife a couple weeks ago, and we're like looking at the menu, and she said, maybe we just get drinks. And I was so happy she said it, because really, I mean, it gets to be ridiculous, you know, the prices just get to be ridiculous, and it's a happening place. They got plenty of business. Other restaurants envy them. So, and there's another place called Tivoli, which is a very popular place, very Polish. I like it because it's got good Polish food. The problem is the owners changed. The old guy sold it, and then the new guy came in, and not the same. And you know when you like a place and then it changes, you're like, used to like it, don't like it anymore. We pretty well stopped going there. And I miss it, you know, I kind of miss that old Tivoli, because that was the one place, back when there were no places, like I said, that place was the place to go. And you could get good Polish food there. And it was just a nice atmosphere. It's like going back to the 1950s, you know, you go to a 50s restaurant. It's like a real restaurant. But it's been disappointing lately. Yeah. But here's the thing. Now they got we've got fast food, we got street food, we got kebabs all over the place. I think that must be true in every city in Europe. Kebab. Sometimes you got an intersection, two streets with the four corners, and you got a kebab on each corner. But there's one place called Smash Burger. It's like a food truck, but it's just like a food truck that's parked permanently. It's like just a shack, basically. It's like a shack. And there are a couple of tables outside the shack, but that's just if there's no roof. So if it's a sunny day, you can eat at those tables. But if it's not a nice day, if it's raining, you're not going to stay there. So it's for picking up food and going. And it's a burger place. And we love burgers. Everybody loves burgers. What I don't like, and I've said this before, is the giant burgers where you can't just eat it. You need a knife and fork because it's so huge. The monster burger. Yeah, I'm sick of that. Everybody's doing it now. Just give me a hamburger that I can hold and eat and enjoy. So, okay, we go to Smash Burger and we like the burgers, right? And we want to support a local place. It's not a chain. It's not McDonald's. It's just a local thing. So we go there. And I went there a couple of weeks ago with my older son. We're going on a bike ride. We thought, okay, let's go. What are we going to eat? We're going to eat something. We go to pick up burgers at Smash Burger. That was our plan. And then ride into the forest and just go eat. It was a beautiful day, sunny, hot. It was like even a little beyond warm. It was in the sunshine. It was really getting hot. And this was just the beginning of March, because this was his birthday, or it was for his birthday. I think it might have still been February. But beautiful weather. So we go to Smash Burger, and here's what bothered me. The burgers were fine, no problem, but I don't like this. I order the burgers. The guy, they make the burgers. The burgers come reasonable time, no problem. I pay for the burgers, and there's no receipt. He doesn't give me a receipt. He doesn't say anything. I don't ask anything. Just like in the process of exchanging money, he does not rip off the receipt and put it in my hand or on the counter. I don't get a receipt. And I know he doesn't want to give me a receipt because he's finagling, which is a great word. It's much more common in the Polish when they call it kombinować. He's kombinuing, kombinowying or something. He's finagling. So he doesn't want to give me a receipt. And I don't argue. I don't need the receipt. But I know what he's doing. And I don't like it. Because the receipt should be mine, and you should give it to everybody. Everybody should get a receipt without asking. It should not be a discussion. You don't talk about it. It's just business. It's good business. You're in your business. I'm here because I like your burgers. And you didn't give me a receipt, and I know it. So you're not being Mr. Funny Guy. You're not being Mr. Good Cook. You're not being Mr. Businessman. We're all, kind of doing a good... No. You're cheating, and you're pissing me off. So that's number one. Number two, as he's wrapping it up, because we got it to go, we got to pay an extra złotówka to go. I don't know if it's for each burger. It's like 2 złotys I'm paying, or if it's 1 złoty for both. I don't know. I don't care. It's like 2 złotys. Okay, whatever. He asks me, do you want me to wrap this up in foil and put it in the bag, or do you just want me to put it in the bag? And now, so he puts this question to me, and okay, I could say, I want the foil, but I know he was trying to save a groschik on the foil, because it's a cost for him. So if he can save 1 groschik on the foil, he'll save the groschik. And I'm like, okay, you don't give me the receipt, and now you're asking me to say, because you want to save money. You didn't say that, but that's what the point is. Like, can you just put it in the bag? It'll be quicker. Put it in the bag without the foil. And I got to ride out in the forest without the... Okay, I'm like, okay, what? How you want? How you want, guy? Never going there again. Done with Smash Burger. Thank you very much for your business. Great burgers, and I'm never going there again. Because you did 2 things. You didn't give me the receipt, and you asked me to not have the foil so you can save a złotówka, or not even a złotówka, a groschik. How much does a square thing of foil to wrap the hamburger in? Don't do that. Okay, bad business. Never going to Smash Burger again. All right. That was, I skipped my numbers. Now I'm lost. Now we got the blind leading the dumb. Speaking of blind, let me take these off so I can read. So that's Smash Burger. And I did that. Okay, so let's go to this one. Let's go to this one, 5. I think I'm on number 5, right? So, okay, I was talking about this with a student today, my friend Pavel, and I've said this before to other people, and I think it's really true. I've probably said it on these podcasts before, and it's this. I think Poland is in a golden age, and you never know when you're in a golden age. You only know it after, and you look back, But I really think that since 1990, let's say, I came here in 94, and certainly since then, but I think a little before that. If you're Polish and you're living in Poland, this is the best time in history. Going back that long, however old you are, whether you were born before that or you're born now, it's a great time to be living in Poland. When you look at the history, because the history's been pretty bad, mostly bad, some good, but a lot of bad. But I mean now, jeez, it's rocking, and it's been rocking for 30 years. 30? I've been here 30, 31, 30, 35 years. It's just been rocking, and I hope it continues to do so. There's no telling what's going to happen, but it looks good, I think. You never know what the Russians are going to do, what's going on in Ukraine, and I don't want to get all political, because, but Germany and what's going on with the European Union, and even in internal Polish politics, which I don't know a lot about, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But I would love to have somebody on to talk about that with me. That would be a great conversation. Maybe I'll invite somebody, if I can think of anybody, like maybe the mayor of Legnica. That'd be fun. Okay, let's go to the next point. What was my last point? Golden age. I think it's a golden age. I think it's the best time to be alive and Polish in Poland right now. So we should appreciate it. You can travel, you can work, you can get a job, you can study, you can go anywhere you want, you can buy a car, and if you don't have one, you can get the money, you can get the car, you can buy it. You have so many opportunities. It's almost like America. I mean, it's like the land of opportunity is here. Good time. Okay, let's go to this one. So, this is supposed to be about Legnica. So I came to Legnica in 2001. So that was a long time ago now. It's hard to believe it's a long time ago, because I remember Y2K. Y2K. It's almost like the Wuhan virus or climate change. Remember Y2K? We're all gonna die. Yeah, and that's true. That truth hasn't changed. But Y2K was the big scare. And I came here in 2001, and I came and I worked at the college. It was a teacher training college in the castle. So, which sounds really great, but castles are not great places to do anything. Maybe they're good for like defending the city or fighting a war, but they're breezy. I mean, like drafty, not breezy in a good way, but drafty in a bad way. And hard to heat, and they got the acoustics of a canyon. It's like, but kind of cool. How can a castle not be cool? A castle is kind of like next to cool in the dictionary. There's a castle. Like that is a cool building. It's just cool. So we had this college in the castle. It was a teacher training college for language teachers, like English teachers. So I was teaching people to become English teachers. And then there was the French section and the German section too. So we had 3 sections of different kinds of language teachers that we were training. And it was a lot of fun. It was great. I was teaching mainly conversation, and I think I did a pretty good job at it. Of course, not perfect. There was some criticisms, I'm sure. But with the conversation, what my whole aim was to make them talk. Not me talking, but get them to talk. And I tried to do that. I think it went well. And I also taught history. That didn't go so well just because it was just hard. It was hard. But I did teach some history. And I liked it. I liked teaching that because it meant I was learning. I had to learn history to teach history, American history. So that was kind of fun. It was a big challenge, and I really appreciated it. And I worked there for a few years. Kind of had bad bosses. I had technically, I guess I had 3 bosses because I had head of the section, Marek, the guy who got me the job, and then these 2 other bosses. And I've had a lot of bosses in my life, and yeah, some are better than others. And then, okay, so that's why I came here, because Marek had been my boss in Radom, and he was living in Lubin, and I was living in Dębica. We kept in touch by letter. We used to write letters, if you can imagine that. And then he, in the course of our exchange of letters, he invited me to come to Legnica. And I'm like, I'm kind of bored with Dębica, honestly. I was a little bored, having been there for 3 years and feeling like time for something different. So I left there, came here, and Marek set me up with another job. So I basically had 2 jobs: the castle, the college in the castle, and then in Lubin, which is a nearby city, not far away. I worked at MCKK, one of the best places I've ever worked, actually, and one of the longest jobs I've ever had. I worked there for about 15 years, I think, in the end. I've never worked a job that long. So that's probably the longest job I've ever had. And it was just from the start, it was fun, good, high quality teachers, lots of students, lots of adventures, in teaching, and lots of challenges. Not always easy, but really good work, and good people. So MCKK, that was fun. I used to do like meetings with a native speaker on one Friday night per month or so, or maybe not even once a month, maybe once every 2 months or so. We'd do this meeting with a native speaker, and I was the native speaker, and so anybody could come for free and just talk, So I usually picked a topic, and then we would talk about the topic, whatever the topic was. It could be anything, like hamburgers. I think one time I did have hamburgers or sandwiches or something. That was my topic. And start with that, and then you go to other things. People ask questions, and you spend an hour, talking in English. So this is a chance for them to listen if they only want to listen, or talk if they can talk or they want to. And then Marek, and his then wife Ella and I would go out to the Wiatrak, near Hojnów. It's a restaurant. Wiatrak means windmill. It's a restaurant in an old real windmill. Great restaurant and a lot of fun. Those were the days. So I love that restaurant. Great garlic soup, and all the food was great. Anyway, those were the days. So that was MCKK. A lot of fun there, and really just great times. Okay, that was 6 or 7. Okay, and now I'm teaching at a school called Zawisza Czarny, which means the Black Knight, and it's a military academy, and a really good school. I think it's, I can recommend it, put it that way. And so Saturday is the first day of spring, and so Friday, they're going to celebrate spring by having sport day, which they did last year, and I talked about it in one of the other video podcasts. And so it's going to be sport day. Hopefully we'll have good weather, and I guess there might be an ognisko, which is a bonfire party, maybe, and play sports. And it's a good way to keep the kids at the school, get them interested, get them doing something, being active. Because the other thing, the tradition in Poland is to run away. They just go play hooky. And I was, it was such a funny thing. The very first year that I was teaching in Poland, and I was at the Liceum in Dobiegniew, and the kids just ran away. And there was nobody in the school. I'm like, what? And I'm shocked. I'm like, I'm supposed to have lessons? All the kids ran. I saw them running out the door. And then all the teachers are in the teacher's room having coffee. And it's like, that's what they used to do. That's what their parents used to do. First day of spring. Zoom. Play hooky. Okay. Mm, Alright, where am I? Zavisha Charney. Yeah. 7, 8. That's what I talked about already. And 9. Yeah. I think I'm almost done here. I was going to talk a lot about Legnica. I don't have that much to say. My wife is from here. Her family live here. And I got nothing else to say about Legnica. So if I think of anything else, I'll tell you. In the meantime, football season's coming up. I'm not playing, but the Jaguars will be starting. I should have checked the schedule because I could have reminded, but I will next time. I look forward to that. I'm going to be watching the games at least. So good luck to all my Jaguar fellow teammates or former teammates. And I'll probably be going to a practice just to check them out and shake hands and see how they're doing. Because I really miss it. I really miss it. But, you know, there are limits in life. Okay, I gotta be done here. I gotta go celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And spring coming. Good. That'll be it. Please leave a comment if you can, if you have anything to say or a question to ask. I would really appreciate that, and I got to start checking those. I don't know if they come, if I get a notice that somebody wrote a comment, or if I'm supposed to actively go check them. I'll check them to make sure if I've gotten any. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe and share them with your friends. Have a good weekend coming up with spring. And goodbye winter.